Hello everyone, and welcome to the back garden yard. Now the extreme heat is on. That's right, it's going to be 97 degrees today. Well, that's not good for the garden. Temperatures over 90, the plants love it. Tomatoes ripen, the okra takes off and grows, and the corn fills out the ears. So 90 degree plus is good, 95 degree plus could be bad. But what I'm going to do in this video is tell you 3 different ways that you can help to prevent heat stroke for your plants. That's right. So let's go out and see them. So the first thing I'm going to show you is you have to keep the plants mulched. If you don't mulch them, they're going to dry out during the heat, and the water is not going to be even. The plants are going to stress, and a stressed plant is not going to produce like a nicely watered, unstressed plant will. So that's the first thing that you got to do, is make sure that you keep plenty of mulch around your plants. And as you can see, I've got my cucumbers mulched, and they're still producing, they're still happy. The eggplants are mulched very well. These cucumbers and eggplants just can't dry out. If you let them dry out, they're going to stress out and they're not going to produce. Then over here, I've got the okra. And the okra, I do not mulch. It just doesn't need it. It's like cotton. I think it's a relative of cotton, and you don't need to mulch it. Over here, you can see where I have slacked out, and I have not mulched all 5 of these pepper plants. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to mulch the pepper plants and get them ready for the high heat. There we go. We got him all mulched up now. First thing is to mulch. And the second thing is to keep them watered. If you let them dry out, they're gonna stress. If you wait until you see them stress to water them, you've waited too long, and they're not gonna produce nearly as well. So you want to go ahead and keep them watered. And that's just kind of basic, but it's more important now than ever to watch them during these heat waves. And then finally, we're going to show you the third thing. So as hard as I've tried this year to get my tomatoes to grow up in there in the shade, as you can see, they're getting ripe down in there, and there's just tons of tomatoes that are in the shade. But unfortunately, there's a lot that have come up and now are exposed to the direct sunlight. And that is not a good thing, because this direct heat will literally cook them in the open. In this group here. So the purpose of leaving the suckers is to let growth come over, so that they'll be in here like this, getting ripe, looking nice. But unfortunately, I've got a bunch up on top. So what I've got to do is to protect those from the sun and the heat. So the heat itself won't do it, but the sun will. It'll literally cook them on the vine, and they'll get sun scald and rot. And that's not what we want. So what am I going to do? We're going to put in some posts here. And these posts are also going to be used for our second crop of cucumbers and tomatoes that I'm about to plant. But for today, they're going to be used to put up this cloth. So this cloth here is called Coolaroo. I bought it at Lowe's. I've had some before. It got so old and ratty I didn't want to show it, so I bought some new today. It's $30 for that one piece of sun cloth. But what it does, it screens out a lot of the harmful rays, and it'll keep it cool if you get it up there right and you take care of it. So what I usually do is I'll come out after about 11 in the morning and I will put this Coolaroo over the tomatoes, and that way then they'll keep the heat of the day, the hot rays, off of the tomatoes. And then if I'm still home or whatever, then around 4 o'clock I'll come back off and let them get the I'll pull it back off and let them get the afternoon sun. And they seem to do very well with that, and it stops the sun scald. So anyway, I'm gonna set this up and then I'll show it to you afterwards. So of course, you guessed it, I'm going to put up fence posts, and I'm going to put these up first for the Coolaroo to keep the sun off the tomatoes, and then the second thing I'm going to do for the second garden, the summer garden, is I'm going to put up another piece of fence about 15 feet long. And we will spare you the construction details, and I'll be back when the fence is made. Okay folks, it's the heat of the day now, and as you can see, my shadow is right under my body. And you can see now these cucumbers, they're getting droopy. But what you don't want to do when you water is you don't want to come out here in the middle of the day and pour a bunch of water on them. Because what's going to happen then is you're literally going to get them to cook. So this is normal for them to droop. As long as I know that I watered them yesterday evening and they're well watered, then I'll come back out and water them again probably this evening. But I just wanted you to see that they are going to droop no matter how much. That's just what squash and cucumbers and big leafy plants do. They do that, I think, to conserve water during the day. So this is normal, but don't come out and water these in the middle of the day. You want to water your cucumbers, in fact you want to water your whole garden usually in the evening. That way it's going to be able to recover, soak up water all night long and grow, and then of course it's going to have to endure the heat the next day. Enough said on that. Now let's look and see what I did over here with the tomatoes. So what I did was I put another piece of fence up. This piece of fence is also going to be used for the July garden, for the second garden. I'm going to put cucumbers here, and I'm going to put tomatoes down here, and then over here I'll put some squash and some zucchini, and we'll have the second garden right here. But in the meantime, I've made this screen, and this netting is a sun filter specially made for it. And if you look in here, you can see now that the plants are getting some light, but they are protected from this hot sun. So it's in the sunshade now. So what I can do later on is, since I've just got clothespins and clips to hold it up, later in the afternoon I can roll it up and clip it up to the top of the fence over here, let it sit there overnight into the morning, and tomorrow around 11 o'clock come out here and roll it back over and protect these tomatoes. Because if you like tomatoes as much as I do, you want to protect these tomatoes. And as long and hard as I've worked for these tomatoes, I'm not letting them go now. So and if you like content like this, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.